Welcome back to my animal education series. Today I'm here at the Dickerson Park Zoo with April, and today we're underneath the hospital. So, obviously you work there. So what kind of animals do you have there now?
Right now we have several raptors that come in from the public, and we do the initial checks and medications and take care of them up here initially, and then once they're done with their medications, they go to the raptor rehab building and to the flight cage.
So, what kind of animals do you have there? They have a barn owl, juvenile bald eagle, and what are some of the other ones that
we have a kestrel and a red-tailed hawk in there, and some box turtles.
Box turtles are a personal favorite of mine. So what happened to the box turtles?
One box turtle got ran over by a lawnmower and shaved just a small portion of the shell off. The other one got ran over, so its shell is cracked, and we're working on getting that repaired.
Which, unfortunately, is pretty common for box turtles.
That is true.
It's always either their mower, because they're hiding in that grass,
Yeah.
and just kind of go over the top of them. It's actually how I got one of my box turtles, is he was launched out of my lawnmower, but he escaped completely unharmed.
Oh wow, that's good.
So we took him into my care because we didn't know if anything was wrong with him or just neurological damage, and he's just fine. So that's a little update on Steve. Back to the hospital. So how did some of the birds come here?
The red-tailed hawk was hit by a car. The kestrel had a broken clavicle. The eagle came from a conservation agent who caught it, and it has a broken coracoid bone. So right now we have it in a figure 8 bandage wrapped to his body to hold that still, to give that bone time to heal before we take everything off and see if he can fly.
And what are some more common injuries that you see coming in here?
Mostly hit by car, caught in a barbed wire fence. Those are the most common things that we see.
And working with other rehabilitation centers, those are the common stories across the board,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I would think so.
Because sometimes animals get hit on the side of the road, a bird of prey will go there, like a vulture or a red-tailed hawk, and then as they're taking off, that's when they get hit. Or they're flying low and they get hit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we have people like you that take these animals in and help them.
We do our best.
So, do some other animals you have in, obviously, like sometimes are unreleasable?
That is true. We have certain guidelines through U.S. Fish and Wildlife and Missouri Department of Conservation, and there are certain things that we can and cannot do. If it's something that we can fix and we're able to release them and they're able to hunt and do everything they normally would do, we can do everything that we can. We do have a time limit for every bird that comes in at 180 days. Until then, we can try to figure out what's going on. If it's something we can't fix, then we're required to humanely euthanize them. Eagles, we kind of make a little more effort because they are our nation's symbol. So we do the best that we can, and occasionally we can put them on the surplus list and see if we can find them a permanent home if they are not releasable. Sometimes we're really lucky with that. Most of the time, I would say we're really lucky with that. And otherwise, we just try to see what we can do.
And another thing I saw in there is for the birds, you have a piece of paper. That's what it looks like. Like a piece of paper, like walking off the front of the enclosure, so that they're not always seeing you guys. Does it help to keep them wild, or is it just to calm them down?
Oh, it depends on the age of the animal. Mostly, it's to help keep them calmed down. But if it's a young bird, obviously we don't want them to imprint on people and release them, and then they immediately depend on people for their care. So it's kind of a dual purpose vision barrier. So
because there's that barn owl in there, which is very loud, which is also one of the reasons we're out here, because that owl is so loud that it would have interfered with the audio. But it definitely does not like people.
Right, and the interns playfully named him Banshee because he screams all the time.
Which is good, that he's definitely not going to imprint on people. He's not going to get used to people.
Not at all.
Because as soon as we open up the cage, just get that quick 10 seconds of footage, he was in the back corner and he was screeching. Yeah, like you said, like a banshee.
Right.
So, what's been one of your favorite things about working here in the hospital?
The best thing about it is that we have a pretty good success rate in our rehabilitation. Overall, when we finish our rehab and they have gone to the flight cage and they fly really well and we're able to release them, the release is so rewarding, and the animals are, seemingly very happy to go back out into the wild and all that.
So what degree do you have to work here?
I have a Bachelor of Science in Animal Science, and I have an Associate of Veterinary Technology.
Now I'd like to ask question for the people who are looking to come into this. What kind of degrees that they should look for, and what other experience do you recommend for someone who wants to get into this field?
If you want to get into the zoo field specifically, take every opportunity you can to be around animals, work at your local vet office, go to the farms, get a wide range of animal experience. A lot of the degrees that we have here are the animal science degree, a lot of agriculture, wildlife conservation, biology. Those are the type of degrees that we have with a lot of our keepers that come in and get jobs full time. So, but we do have high school volunteers that come out and volunteer whenever they can, and that certainly gives them experience in exotic species and helps them along the way, to meet their career goals.
Well, thank you so much for telling us about the hospital here and all
You're
the
welcome.
current visitors.
You're welcome. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Don't forget to leave a big thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel, and also check out my Instagram @ColeShirk. As always, I'll see you next week.